Hello. Let's see. It's been a while. Oops. um, it's been a long time since I've done a vlog. The last time I think I did it was last year during Inktober. So it's basically been a year since it is the last day of September as of recording this. Um, it was the beginning of the year that got really busy. I was back at school and I was researching how to use a new program and stuff after all the post holiday busyness. I was hoping to get back into videos, but we ended up moving kind of early in the year. Me and my brothers are living in a new place. And I meant to do things over the summer, but over the summer I basically started kind of doing a lot more hours at my job, and then at some point I went full-time because I needed to make a bunch of money in order to have the ability to do full-time school during the fall, which is now. I guess what I'm doing here is a Inktober Day Zero sort of video where I lay out kind of my plans for Inktober, what I plan to do. This is a chart that I came up with about halfway through this month because I was already starting to think about what I want to do. Inktober is, I'm sure almost everyone knows what it is by now. It is 31 days, 31 ink drawings. Draw every day an ink drawing. Those are pretty much the only real rules to the thing. But because I feel pretty confident in my inking skills, I think I started doing Inktober myself a few years back for many of the same reasons that Jake Parker started, because I didn't feel like my inking was very good, like I lost something in the inking process. But since then I feel like I do a lot better inking, sometimes even better than sketching. And so I usually focus on different things that I want to improve. And so that's what this chart was about, because I wanted to figure out what I wanted to focus on this month and what kind of subjects I wanted to focus on, because sometimes narrowing down your subject matter helps a whole bunch. So that's what this chart is all about. So let's see, where do I start? Things that I wanted to improve included like my inking skills, like specifically inking skills, art skills, and my social media skills. So that was one of the things was I make YouTube vlogs. So here I am on day zero. Woo! We're gonna try and do that. I know I won't be able to do that, so I'm just gonna highlight the things that for sure I still want to do, because some of the things I don't think I'll be able to do. Like, so for sure I want to try and do vlogs. They won't be super often. I'll try to do maybe at least once a week, because some days I am super busy. Like, I leave the house early in the morning and I do not come back until 9 in the night, in the evening. It is dark and it is cold. It's getting cold. I want to post to social media more consistently. So that's like my Tumblr and my Instagram, and I'll put those down in the description if you guys haven't found those yet. I am actually very good at doing that. Usually I'm pretty good at taking a picture of them either in the morning when the lighting is better or in the evening with a decent lamp if I find one. I might go out and buy a new like daylight lamp for this. And that's one of my other goals, is to scan my sketchbook more often so I can submit these to like my DeviantArt, which is where I put like the nicer versions, the nicer scanned, not crappy photo versions. Let's see. As far as inking skills, I kind of usually let myself just use whatever I have, and I have a load of inking supplies. But I think this month I'm gonna focus on using brush pen and dip pens. But this is not going to be like one of those really hard set rules. I'm going to try to use my brush pen more often. And the pen that I'm thinking to use is this one here. It is the Pentel pocket brush. Oh, it's so beautiful. It is one that I got a long time ago. And I got it for Inktober because I'm like, I'd like to learn how to brush ink. And this seemed like a really convenient, less messy way to do it. And I love that it comes with waterproof ink, so I can watercolor the drawings after. I I think I have some other things in here that I know that I'm not very good at. These are the inking tools that I'm not super good at, because I'm pretty good at this, but I haven't used it in a while. Like, I use it for sketching, and I feel like I'd want to be able to get better at detail work with this. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do with that. I'm going to allow myself for the month to, I'm not going to restrict myself to that. I'm going to try to do that, but like I said, there are going to be days, like Monday and Tuesday, I'm at school like all day, and I do things all day. I have a lot of stuff to do. So I'm going to allow myself my other tools. So that's going to include like some different little brushy kind of pens, or my technical pens, and that's just to keep my sanity and to relieve the stress on those really hard days. But the goal will be to get a lot better at this again, basically. As far as art skills go, the thing that I'm going to work on is drawing more consistently. I think I already marked this earlier. I want to beat my record. My current record is 18 out of the 31 days. I've never finished Inktober, a full 31 days of drawings. Last year, I did less than 18. It was a really hard semester that year. But I did do more than half. So I'm glad that I've done more than half, pretty much almost always, I think. But this year I'd like to do maybe a lot closer to 20, because then that would be 2/3. That would be the new record. Let's see, so because I want to draw more consistently. I'm drawing a lot more consistently. This book is actually getting done pretty quickly. This is one of my newer sketchbooks, and I think I've been in it just a little over a year. So I'm drawing a lot more often, so I'm hoping to make it a better habit. I want to work on backgrounds and expressive kind of narrative poses. Looking at drawings from last year, a lot of these, my theme last year was OCs, because I wanted to warm up drawing my own characters again. But the thing was that there was a lot of just floating people, which is kind of what happens when you draw the characters, you pose them and everything, but you don't put them on something. I think this sketchbook still is just lots of floating characters. It's no background. These are a lot from stuff. And even when I do like model night, I almost never draw their backgrounds. So it's like, sorry. I almost never do the backgrounds, and I want to get better at that and doing kind of more expressive narrative poses, because I want to get back into working on a comic. I haven't done a comic since high school, basically. I did a really good one. Actually, it's at the beginning of this book. This book used to be my comic drawing book, and it's terrible because it's really old. But back then I used to have so much drawing time and used to be so motivated, and I think the comic got to about more than 100 pages. And I have an idea. I have ideas for a few, but I haven't really done them because I'm so nervous about it. I feel like my drawings aren't that good, and I feel like my drawings are a bit better now, and I know that I won't really get anywhere if I don't actually just start. So I would like to work on backgrounds and kind of more narrative poses. I think I'm pretty good at poses, but backgrounds is a focus because I have not drawn backgrounds in a long time. I'm not bad at it. I mean, if I have reference, if I have the patience to do it, it's not my favorite thing to do. So it's always kind of a chore to do it. So I want to try and focus on putting more backgrounds, more focus on the backgrounds, and placing characters in backgrounds. Because one of my goals for this year is to get warmed up and started and to get things together to start a comic that I've really been thinking about. Because I'd really like to get a comic done, like at the very least like a short comic. And I have a lot of things in mind for it, and I've drawn the characters a whole bunch, but I have not drawn an awful lot of backgrounds, and I'm not warmed up to it. So I feel like taking this would be a good chance to warm up to drawing backgrounds. So those are kind of the big goals and things I want to improve: is making more YouTube vlogs, scanning my sketchbook more consistently and more I'm hoping to maybe set some sort of reminder to do that once a week, because right now I do it once every other month. My brushkin pen skills, I'm going to focus on that tool-wise, but this will be kind of a loosey-goosey part. Beating my record, and my art skill focus will be backgrounds. I also was thinking about like what subject matter I wanted to focus on during Inktober. This is a little less important. It just helps me a lot, because if you don't have something like a subject to focus on, you spend a bunch of time, at least in my case, just looking at the blank page, like too afraid to start. So sometimes narrowing it down, like last year, my theme was working off of the Inktober list, the prompt list, and drawing my OCs, because I wanted to warm up to drawing my original characters again. And so these are the kind of subject matters I thought about focusing on, like doing fan art, doing my OCs again. The prompt list, I just wrote down some really interesting ones, because there are some interesting ones floating around Tumblr and stuff. And I actually think I'm going to work off of the Inktober official again. It's never steered me wrong. They're pretty random. They're pretty diverse. So there's always something fun. Like, I've always thought it was interesting, like the ones that were focused on like mermaids or monsters or something, which is pretty cool. But I feel like I would get a little tired of the same subject matter over a month, because I think I tried doing mermaid, and I tried sketching a lot, and I got tired of mermaids. Mermaids are not my business though. They're not my thing. And I did put that stuff kind of down here, like doing witches or monsters, that kind of stuff, but that's not super fun for me. So I'm just gonna work off the verbs and adjectives. As far as what exactly I draw, like if I'm drawing my original characters or if I'm drawing like a particular kind of thing, like I thought about drawing the characters from that comic, I'm actually going to give myself a lot of leeway in this thing, because I've been in a little bit of a fan arty mood, because me and my friends are getting into a bunch of new things. And I do like drawing my OCs a lot. I have a list of my OCs, so whenever I don't know what to draw, sometimes I just look at that. So I'm going to give myself leeway as far as the characters I draw, since the focus will be on backgrounds anyway. And I'm just going to do whatever I want in that respect. Like if I feel like drawing a school, maybe I'll do something from one of those animes we're watching. A bunch of them are in schools. Or if I feel like drawing something like a shack, I'll probably draw my coyote kids who live in the Wild West and all that fun stuff. Or if I feel like drawing fantasy things, I'm going to probably draw like our D&D shenanigans. Me and my friends recently got into D&D, so we started doing games at my house, and so that's probably going to be a thing. Like I was mentioning before, as far as tools go, probably going to use the Pentel pocket brush, but I'm not going to restrict myself too bad. I'm going to probably use some actual like ink on some days for washes, and on days where I can't bring that, I'll probably use like markers, and I have this white pen to bring back the whites. I have a bunch of tools, but I'm not going to go over those really. And for this very special Inktober, I'm going to make it the most goal-oriented Inktober yet. I'm going to actually start a new sketchbook. This is a terrible idea, but it's also a great idea, trust me. It's just primarily because this book is sketchbook paper and this book is mixed media paper. So as this it's a little thicker, and I'm hoping that'll encourage me to use more ink washes and be able to watercolor these after I've drawn them. It'll give me more motivation to if I can come back and add color or add even ink color, because I have acrylic inks in colors. I could go back and use those, because last year I worked in basically 2 books, and the thing is that this year they're almost done. So I think I probably will still do, like, I'm not gonna not do drawings in these books. I'm gonna try and keep them in that book, because it'll have the nicer paper that's thicker and can handle the ink and can handle heavier duty techniques. Because last year I pretty much did it in just these 2 books. This book is usually almost always used for Inktober, actually. It's an old book, but it's almost done. So it's like, I think I am 1, that's 2, basically 4 if I do both sides. It's not enough for the whole Inktober. Maybe I'll do a sketchbook tour later of this. And this book too, that's all I have left. I think last day I counted them, I had about 14 pages. And I don't like working in this one that much for Inktober because it's bigger. But let me see if I can find them. Things like this get the page all warbled up. And it's like, this is Inktober from last year. And some things like this are pretty good. And also because this is a grainy sketch paper, some of my tools, like that Pentel pocket brush I was using, I don't know if you can see it, gets all bleedy. It feathers. So I kind of don't want to use this one as much because it's like things will react funnier on this one because it's not a smooth paper, it's not a thick paper. I might do it in some days where I'll draw in this one because I like to work in the bigger book. But some days will probably be in this one because, like I said, there are days that I am all day at my school on campus. I am there from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And it's going to be hard to bring this book, and it's going to be hard to bring this one. This is not as big as my normal sketchbook. This is a 9 by 12. This is 7 by 10, but this is still a decent, heavy textbook size kind of thing. And so this is the book that's with me all the time because if I can't bring one of these and I get the urge to draw, I need something. So I got my little baby book. So some things will probably be in here. Some things will probably be in here. But on the days that I can't, I'm going to try and bring this one instead of my big boy and do some Inktober drawings in here. And I'm probably going to work on some of these at home. So we'll try to work in this big guy because it has nicer paper, kind of smoother. I got to test my inking materials on here. But yeah, so that's the Inktober plan. See you the rest of the month. Wish me luck.